What's good, family? So smash the like button and subscribe. So, as you might have seen by the title, your boy the YB woke up this morning with some nightmarish news. I can't even lie to you, man. Some nightmarish news. Essentially, one of my dons close to Oleksandr Usyk told me that, listen, Oleksandr Usyk has no respect for AJ. No respect for him. Not even a little bit of respect for him. What I'm hearing now is, well, really not what I'm hearing. In fact, what I am hearing, what we are hearing is for a fact, Usyk don't have no respect for AJ, and on that basis, he is training for power, size, and to walk forward. Usyk's put a message out publicly about 2 weeks ago now and said the path will be mastered by the walking one. Yeah, guess what? He didn't say running one, did he? He didn't say the path will be mastered by the running one. He said walking. What do we know? Where do you walk in a ring? Forward. You don't walk back. You skip back. You run back. You walk forward. No, I'm just telling you what I'm hearing. At the time, yeah, no joke. At the time, 2 weeks ago, when Usyk's put this message out, I didn't think nothing of it. Now it's all kind of making sense. The reports out of Usyk's camp is that Usyk ain't paying no mind to AJ, ain't showing him no respect. He's bulking up, putting on size, and he's planning on chipping AJ's chin. Why? Because they believe he's chinny. They believe he's vulnerable. They believe he's nervous. That's what I'm hearing. And it kind of makes sense, to be fair, because when you look at a lot of the training stories, Usyk is looking bigger than he ever has. If that makes sense. When you look at the Chisora fight, he looked like he normally does at a cruiserweight. I'm hearing for this fight, and you can see the footage on your screen throughout this video, Usyk has been bulking up. Obviously he's not a proper heavyweight, but still, he's putting on weight. Why? Because he's planning on coming forward and trying to get a piece of that chin, is what I'm hearing. They believe, for whatever reason, like I said, number one, they believe they need to touch his chin. Number two, they believe they can touch his chin. Number three, they believe that they can do something with his chin, essentially. Bottom line. Because it's quite interesting. Quite a lot of the pundits have said, Usyk needs to be ultra light on his feet so he can. Usyk shouldn't put weight on because he should be ultra light and use his speed and use his smallness to his advantage. What I'm hearing and from what we're seeing, Usyk said, scrap that. We're coming to take some advantage of this vulnerability we perceive. And that's what I've heard. Like I said, I woke up this morning and that's what I've heard. I'm hearing that they ain't planning on playing no games. They planning on coming to take AJ's, or to at least test AJ's chin, because they believe he's vulnerable. Bottom line, that's what I'm hearing. And I'm not being funny, but it don't take a rocket scientist. People who've watched old AJ, yeah, and they see this new thing, and I've already talked about it many times. Watch AJ's Pulev fight. Yes, he got the stoppage against an old Don, who was super scary, 100%. There's no denying that. Did he stop an old dude who weren't throwing no punches back? 100%. But the point is, that ain't, everyone can see, that ain't the confident man you got used to seeing. It's not. There's no way no one can tell me that how AJ was performing against Pulev was how he used to perform, with that confidence. And people say, well, but he lost, so of course he's not going to be as confident. So why does losing have to change the whole paradigm? Your belief, yeah, well, to be honest with you, losing or not losing, your belief should stay the same. I've said it before, but look at Lewis. When Lewis lost against, was it his second loss, he came straight back. Because he believed, or obviously, he still believed in himself. He bounced straight back, next fight, and stopped the guy. Hassan Rahman, no playing around. He knew it was a mistake, if that makes sense. He knew he had things to correct. He knew Hassan Rahman didn't have his number. He didn't say, oh, you know what? he's got my number, I best change my style. He came straight back and squashed it. And that's what needs to be done, in my opinion. Squash it, because if you don't squash it, it spreads. And I believe that's what we've seen in AJ so far. We've seen this, you know, call it what you want, call it a weakness. We've seen this weakness spread, in my opinion. Not just my opinion, everyone's seen it. Everyone agrees he don't look the same way he used to look. Not assertive, not full of belief. Rightly or wrongly, you should go into every fight believing you're invincible. Especially when, in that first Ruiz fight, AJ himself admits there were issues. So I'm thinking, well, now you've corrected the issues, or now the issues aren't there, whether it was sparring or whatever, you should be back to your normal self. If you have the right team around you, if you have the right support around you, etc, etc. In my opinion, AJ doesn't. That's why he's not. The reason he's been allowed, because I wouldn't allow it. If I was training AJ, I wouldn't allow anything less than how it was before. Wouldn't be acceptable. I'd tell him to retire. I'm like, listen AJ, if you're super scary to get hit and if you don't want to engage with a 40-year-old man, you best hang it up. Or find a new trainer, because that's not it for me. And that's what the great trainers did. We've seen, I'm not going to keep going over it, but we've seen people like Manny Stewart in the corner telling Klitschko, this ain't good enough. Finish the guy. I want him out of there. You have to know your athlete and know when they're not achieving or performing to their best ability. And also the great trainers, they know what and when their fighters aren't. It's not rocket science to work out. Yeah, of course AJ would have had a mental blip after that first loss. Everyone knows that, the first time you get stopped or whatever. But the thing is, what I understand is, AJ himself has said, after the first Ruiz loss, AJ said, listen Ruiz, on my worst night you couldn't put me out. So I think to myself, yeah, you're right. So why aren't we, that principle there, the fact that even on AJ's worst night, Ruiz couldn't put him out cold. Couldn't even really, in my opinion, neurologically compromise him either. For example, when you see Fury on his back against Wilder, yeah, he has lost consciousness, bottom line. Even on AJ's worst night, in fact, none of AJ's fights has he lost consciousness. Which for me is the key thing. When Lewis got beat by Rahman, he was half unconscious. AJ's never been taken to that point. And like he said to Ruiz, even on my worst night, you couldn't put me out. You couldn't even test my consciousness. So why don't you use that, if that makes sense? You should be saying, you know what, on my worst night, you should, in my opinion, I've said it before, this Ruiz loss should have been a positive. And in my opinion, again, I use that Ruiz loss to justify AJ having one of the best chins in the heavyweight division today. In my opinion, it's number one. Because, like I said, on his worst night, and throughout his career, look at the Klitschko fight. Klitschko hit him, he was out of gas, and it was one of the best right hands I've ever seen, clean. And it bounced off. He went down, but the point is, he didn't lose consciousness. That there's a A1 chin. To remain, we've seen Fury spark out a few times. Yes, he's recovered, but that doesn't make you have a great chin. A great chin's one that's able to take a shot and remain conscious. AJ's never lost consciousness. He has one of the best chins in the division. And in my opinion, it's top 10 all time, based on actual facts and evidence. Because we've seen a whole load of fighters go unconscious before. Lennox Lewis, Tyson Fury, the whole bag of man. To much lesser opponents as well. So why aren't AJ using that and saying, you know what, man, not only do I not have a bad chin, I have a great chin. I have something that I can rely on almost. I have something I know I've got in the bag. But we don't see that. And that's why, unfortunately, this video exists right now. Because you sucks. There's not only do they perceive AJ may have a physical weakness, mainly it's the psychological weakness they're perceiving. They're seeing him approaching old fighters who are frail. And unfortunately, yeah, it's almost like in the animal kingdom, when younger lions see the older man's not moving as assertive as he used to be. That's how often you actually find more fights happen, or even when you look at prison, which in itself is more animalistic. Regardless of reality, there's a lot more confrontation based on perception. If you're perceived to be weak, even if, for example, if you saw a little Chinese man, if you're perceived to be weak, even if you've got the sickest hands, naturally it creates more confrontation, because people think, oh, I think I'll take a piece of that. Whereas when you're assertive, and that's in fact, again, just look around. The men who are the most assertive, even though they can't fight a lick, naturally it reduces confrontation. Even if you can't fight a lick, if you're assertive, it turns off 99% of people. Now apply that to the fighting game. People like Usyk. Usyk sees AJ. He ain't as assertive as he used to be. And that turns him on. That gives people belief they wouldn't have otherwise had. Why are you giving that away to your opponents for? The great example is Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson, for free, just by having this assertiveness, you end up breaking 90% of your opponents for free. They're scared to, before they even get in the ring, they're shook. That's a carried advantage. Just by being assertive. You have this air of superiority around you. When you don't have that, then everyone's fixing to get a piece of it, get a piece of the pie, which makes your life a lot harder because every day you have to be tested. People like Usyk, a blown up cruiserweight, who should be going. For example, the best way of looking at it is Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker is how people should be fighting AJ. Joseph Parker got in the ring and he was super scary. He didn't take no forward steps. He fought AJ as scary as you like. And what makes this quite interesting is the parallels between Usyk and AJ. Usyk and Joseph Parker. The parallel is, what do we know? Before that Parker fight, what was Parker saying? Oh mate, good day mate. What about Kangaroo? Good day mate. Joshua mate. Joshua's chinny mate. Oh mate. Joshua, Kangaroo. He was saying 100%. That's what he was saying. Him and his manager wheeled out the video saying we've got sparring KO videos and we're paying anyone 50 grand to show us AJ knocked out in sparring. We're coming for AJ's chin. Guess what? Parker talked all that talk, got in there and didn't back none of it up. He was scared to. Listen. Parker was super scary. He was skeeting around the side of the ring, edge of the ring, staying out of harm's way. That's what he was doing. Joseph Parker fought like a victim. Yeah, and rightly so. That's how people should be fighting AJ. They should be shook to get in the ring from the jump. And naturally, that makes your life a lot easier because you don't want to be going into fights giving people a whole bag of confidence, making people think they've got a chance. People should know what time it is. People should know they're turning up for a bag. That's it. Parker knew he was turning up for a bag. That's it. He won't come to win. And that's how this whole division should be. But unfortunately, the last few performances, and to be honest, rightfully so, I think AJ's opponent should be getting turned on because it's a fact. The facts are, ain't no one looking at that Pulev performance and thinking, you know what, I don't fancy a piece of that. They're thinking, you know what, Pulev, 40-year-old, can go 10 rounds, and AJ won't throw him. AJ threw about 5 hard shots the whole fight. You know what, I think I can get a piece of that. That's what they're thinking. People are looking at the Pulev fight and saying, you know what, Pulev's 40 years old, ain't very good, weren't even really trying, weren't throwing no punches, and he made it 10 rounds. Me, much more skillful, much quicker, much whatever else. You know what? I think I'm going to give it a go. You know, if Pulev, who weren't throwing no punches, who isn't aggressive, who isn't fast, can have AJ dancing around and disengaging every 2 minutes, you know what? I'll have a piece of that. And it gives people something they never else would have had. So, like I said, naturally, it puts you in a position where your life's a lot more harder. Them fights where you were fighting people like Parker, who were just coming for the paycheck, now you're having people turn up with belief. And it's the thing is, it's one thing people having belief. Now, if AJ goes in there and he changes his mindset, then that belief will be quickly quickly extinguished. In as much as if AJ came out with his elbows tucked in and marched Usyk's down in the first round, then all that confidence would go out the window. But the problem is, what happens if AJ goes in the ring like against Usyk, like he did against Pulev? Every minute, AJ's jabbing and disengaging, and you man watch the tape. In AJ versus Pulev fight, AJ was the one who was dancing around the side of the ring. He was the one boxing. He was the Joseph Parker. No joke, it's a fact. Pulev was the one who had ring generalship. He was dominating the centre of the ring. He was coming forward, edging forward. If that happens in this Usyk's fight, especially with how Usyk's been preparing, i.e. putting weight on, he's planning on coming forward. He's planning on getting a taste of it. He's thinking, well, you know what, if Pulev's the one who is being the ring general, if Pulev was the one holding the centre of the ring, I'm setting an expectation for myself. So like I said, if AJ does what he's supposed to do and quashes and gets to work in the first round, everything's fine. If he doesn't, every round Pulev, or every round Usyk is in there doing the things he's thinking about, dominating the centre of the ring, he's coming forward, he's got AJ dancing around, nicking a jab here and there and disengaging like he was against Pulev. Every round that goes by, he gets more confident. Every round that goes by, all the plans they're making now are going to be fulfilled. And just naturally, in terms of point scoring, it's a lot harder to score points from the edge of the ring. Naturally, boxing referees, or boxing judges, sorry, they give points to people coming forward. People dominating the centre of the ring and coming forward, it gives you easy points, 3 points. That's why Alvarez don't drop many rounds these days, because you've really got to be schooling someone. You've really got to be kind of Fury versus Chisora on the outside to be winning them kind of rounds. It's hard work. So if Usyk is, Pulev won't throw no punches, but if Usyk is doing anything and dominating in the ring, all of a sudden you're in a tough fight. All of a sudden all of a sudden you're actually looking at the rounds. And it's a sad day I'm having to sit here and talk through this, but it's the truth. Usyk, from what I'm hearing, my reports from the camp are, him and his team are rock hard for AJ right now. Now we know, true AJ fans know, it's ridiculous. In principle, if that makes sense. True AJ fans know the best AJ versus the best Usyk don't go 4 rounds. But unfortunately, we ain't talking about the best AJ and the best Usyk. We're talking about the best Usyk and this new Fury AJ. That's what we're really talking about. Because this fight should be a case of, well, is it going to be 3 rounds? Is it going to be 2 rounds? Is it going to be 5 rounds? That's what it should be. Instead, it's, well, what are we going to get? Are we going to get the man who feels invincible? Because there's no reason. I've said it before. I believe Tyson Fury's best shot can't knock AJ out cold. Bottom line. And in fact, I'll say it again. I don't think anyone in the heavyweight division today, their best shot can knock AJ out. No one's that gifted, in my opinion. But forget everyone else. Forget people like maybe Wilder or maybe Dillian White. Fury and Usyk, I'll say it now categorically. Usyk and Fury's best shots will not knock AJ out cold. I'd love to bet on that. I'd bet on that. If any of them 2 man hit AJ clean, it's not going to do nothing. At worst, he'll take a seat like he did against Vlad or Ruiz. He's never going out cold. Because if Vlad couldn't put him out cold, if Ruiz couldn't put him out cold, Fury and Usyk have less power than them 2. Categorically. So knowing that, AJ should be in there. Exactly this. What did I say about the Pulev fight? The way AJ was boxing all goofy on the outside. I said to him, if I was training AJ, the first round, we go in there with our hands down, try something new, Naz style, and just see what he's got. Hands down, and just you know what I'm saying, show no respect. Because what's the worst that can happen? We know Pulev ain't throwing combinations. What made Ruiz relatively dangerous was because he put 6 together. Pulev ain't put 6 together in his whole career. So my point is, we know the worst Pulev's ever going to catch us with is 1, maybe 2, maybe 2. So we put our hands down, and we know we're taller than Pulev. Whatever Pulev catches us with, we can catch him with the same thing, and it's going to be twice as bad. Why? Because we're banking on ourselves. We know our chin's better than his, and we know our jab and our right hand and our shots are better than his. So why not? Let's get our swagger back on point here. Let's start showing these bums no respect. I'm going to go in there, hands down, and whatever. All hands up, and just march forward. Either way, whatever way you want to do it. Instead, AJ came out, hands up, and all fruity with the arms, and fruity with the legs, and dancing, and jerking, and wow. What are we doing here? But either way, we're going to find out what happens. We know Rob McCrappen got another video coming soon. Rob McCrappen isn't in the camp, which is great. Well, it actually is great, but either way, it just shows how lacklustre the camp is. The head trainer, he got 2 jobs. Imagine that. You've got the best fighter in the last 100 years, and you've got 2 jobs. Can't even commit to him. But like I said before, this says more about AJ, to be fair, because he allows that. And again, it makes me question his belief in himself. How much do you believe in yourself when you don't even hire a trainer who wants to commit to you? If I had 2 jobs, yeah, and I had the opportunity to train AJ, I'd say, you know what, AJ, F this other job. I know how much of a great talent you are. I'm committing to you. Would you not? Innit? If you had 2 jobs and one was training AJ, would you not say, you know what, that other job can wait? AJ's got a 10, 15 year career span. Let me commit. And this man, this talent, the fans, everything else deserves my full attention. Oh no. Not Rob McCrappen. Rob McCrappen wants a piece of everything. Or better yet, fundamentally, he just don't want to commit. He just doesn't seem to see the urgency or the need to commit, or doesn't want to. For whatever reason, he ain't committing. But like I said, that's not his fault. You can only get away with what people allow. AJ's allowed Rob McCrappen to treat him like a sideman, like a side project. I'm not being funny. How many jobs did Shane McGuigan have? How many jobs did Emmanuel Stewart have? It's bad enough having multiple fighters, but 2 different jobs is complete madness. Absolute madness. And it sums up the situation AJ finds himself in. He finds himself in a suboptimal position because he's got a suboptimal team, bottom line. He's got a part-time team. Simple as that. Part-time team equals part-time results. And that's why we're about to watch God knows what in AJ versus Usyk. Because Usyk is there on the up and up, rock hard, seeing bits and bobs to pick at, and we've got Rob McCrappen just on holiday, training amateurs. Wow, it's bad. I hope I'm wrong. Listen, I hope I'm wrong. I hope AJ comes out and he stops Usyk within 6 rounds, and I can come on here and say, you know what, guys, yeah, they didn't follow my approach, but they got the job done the same way. Because in my opinion, if he gets to the same result, if they stop Usyk within 6 rounds, then fair play. Because that's all I would expect. If they don't, then we've got a problem. But to be honest with you, I'll stretch my expectations. As long as they stop Usyk, then whatever. That's where the barometer has to be set. Stoppage. I don't want to hear nothing about, well, because in my opinion, no one in this heavyweight division today has a right to go longer than 12 rounds. Really, longer than 6, but I'll allow a stoppage, full stop. This fight must be achieved in a stoppage. Must be. AJ's too good to be giving people UDs. Too big, too strong. Way too big, way too strong, especially against a cruiserweight. I mean, people that use the way Chisora was in there with Usyk. Chisora was begging to get his hand on him a bit more. Chisora just didn't have to. I don't know. He didn't have to drive. I don't think. Chisora looked like he was having a bit of a doddle, which is often how he does perform. If Chisora isn't up for it, you don't go for it the same way. If that Chisora who was in the ring against Dillian White 2 was there, Usyk's would have been stopped, or not far off. He would have been battered even more. That's what would have happened. Let's see anyway. Usyk, like I said, he training right now and he going for the KO. He not showing AJ no respect. He don't have no fear of. Well, of course he has kind of professional fear, but he ain't how he should be. He wants a piece of this, from what I'm hearing. And he's training to have a piece of this. He's training to actually compete with AJ, if that makes sense. He's not training to nick and run around, from what I'm hearing. He's training to set pace. What I'm hearing, one of their key game plans, or one of their key kind of, what's the word? One of their key target sheets is to get a few clean shots on AJ's chin. Why? From what I'm hearing, they believe if we can get a few shots on AJ's chin, if we can ask a few questions of AJ's chin, then if we can kind of give AJ some flashbacks of that Ruiz fight, we think he's going to completely shut off and kind of go into his shell. At which point, it's going to allow us to get our game plan off. They basically want to give AJ flashbacks. Yeah? They want to send him back to that Ruiz night and make him think that's going to happen all over again. How they do that is, because they've seen how AJ fights, in as much as they see how AJ be dancing now. So they know they're going to need to be coming forward to look for to get that punch off. Because AJ isn't going to be there to be hit like he was in the Ruiz 1 fight. Which is why they're preparing to come forward. To get their hands on his chin. Is their plan, from what I'm hearing. We'll see. And it'll be, all I'm saying is it'll be a sad day that we see a cruiserweight essentially hunting down for a piece of AJ's chin. Shocking. And I really hope I'm wrong, to be fair. I hope that Team AJ magically pulled it out of the bag. And yeah. Because all I know is AJ versus a cruiserweight, it should be AJ the one who's looking to take a piece of chin. AJ should be looking to take Usyk's chin clean off for him. That's what we should be talking about right now. I don't know what universe I've tapped into where I'm actually talking about a cruiserweight training to get a piece of the best athlete of the last 100 years. Oh, wow, it's bad.